Hey, my name is Joe,
And I'm Mary Beth.
and this is the best of Gen X.
We are in our 40s.
And we're siblings,
We'll talk about adulting in a world so different from the one we grew up in,
so excuse us while we save a generation.
one episode at a time.
Let's go.
Hey, Joe,
Hey, Mary Beth.
what's new?
Well, I was driving down the road.
No, wait, that wasn't a question.
Oh.
It was a statement,
Okay.
by the way, because we're actually telling you what's new right now with us, with the country, with the world, pop culture. According to the news and online trends, there are all sorts of things we're supposed to care about at this very moment. And so we looked into these ridiculous things so that you all don't have to.
You don't have to.
I feel like it's been forever since we sat down to do this, but it's really only been 3 weeks.
Yeah, I forgot what you looked like. I missed your face.
Oh, I miss your face too.
It's missable.
So seriously, what is new with you, bro?
So our obviously, had a holiday tournament for the Christmas season. Our basketball team, the previous holiday tournament that's been in existence forever and ever, got canceled. So we entered a new one about an hour and a half away, and we won.
Well, congratulations.
We got to cut some nets down.
Aw.
What makes that really special because the program that I coach at, this is our 4th year, so all the seniors that we coach, we've been there since they were freshmen,
Aw.
and we were just dreadful the first year or so. Mm-hmm. And you never saw in 3 or 4 years that we would be good enough to win anything.
Well, that's awesome.
Of significance. So, yeah, we got to cut nets down. It was really cool. Got to do an overnight thing.
Was this your first net cutting as a coach?
Yes, actually.
That's a big
Absolutely.
deal.
Absolutely, yeah. Because, I won middle school stuff when I coached in AAU, but you didn't have net cutting in those
Right.
situations. So, yeah, first high school net cutting.
Big deal.
I know it was really cool. It was kind of surreal, and it was neat to see the kids they were out of their minds,
Yeah.
excited because, like I said, those kids grew up even in their youth programs. They didn't win anything. They've never won anything in their life,
So hard work paid off.
and now we're at the point where it's just amazing to see those kids as little 14-year-olds, and now they're almost graduating, and
Yeah.
they're men now, and they're hugging you because you have such a good relationship with them over the span of a few years, and you're so close to them, and you text them, and you check in on them, and it's been very, very gratifying.
Yeah, they start to feel like extended family.
Yeah. So my office here at the house has a little piece of the net, kind of put on my little basketball figurine thing.
The first of many, I hope.
First of many, yeah. So that's kind of what's been going on, and just sitting here, just enjoying being snowed in.
Yeah, so we were delayed last week. We could have recorded a day earlier. We weren't quite ready. And then Josh was going to bring me to your house Sunday morning, and
We really went back and forth on that.
we did. We struggled because we're trying to build an audience, and when you're doing that, you have to maintain consistent scheduling so that people know, when to expect you and that sort of thing. And so it was a tough call, but the snow was already so bad at that early hour. I knew by the time I calculated it by the forecast and girl math, I knew that we'd have at least 5 inches on the ground before, we were heading home. And I was like, we
She
can't.
said girl math. Math is genderless.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I think I remember that day. Wasn't I coming home from Aldi? I was trying to speed back home, and,
Yeah.
it was getting horrible as I was getting off my exit.
And you were on the interstate.
Yeah, so you and I had a lot of back and forth about safety first. Right. You're right. We want to be consistent. I think we have been. At the end of the day, that was the only time we've ever been off schedule, I think.
I know, but
it was an extreme weather circumstance.
it felt terrible to start 2025 with our podcast
Hey, listen, I know
a week late.
I know, I get that, but it's kind of funny. That's just something that we would probably do and get away with.
Yeah.
But
we are just that awesome.
Yeah, well, it is funny because you were talking about we have these people that are actually actively listening and they're excited about it or whatever, and we know that because I even recently got feedback from somebody that they said, "Hey, when's your next podcast episode?" And I told them, I was like, "Well, we record every other Sunday, so we're scheduled to do it," and I insert the date, and they literally told me, they go, "Oh, cool," because I actually listen to it while I clean my house.
Oh, that's fun.
And I was like, awesome. I just couldn't, I was just kind of shaking my head in sort of disbelief. I was like, wow. People
I
like
just
people
wanna
like schedule their stuff
I
around.
know if you're listening and cleaning your house right now, I just want to say take a break, take care of you. Don't let your back suffer because we're at an age where cleaning the house is just.
You feel it the next day.
When we were helping mom and dad move, I couldn't. I mean, I'm not supposed to lift heavy things because of my lower back injury.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, can I get a doctor's note for that?
And, with my knee messed up and then I've got my shoulder problem. Anyway, mom was like, how do you clean your house? And I'm like, not well.
Yeah, not as good as I'd like to.
In fact, here's what's new with me. This morning, I'm very excited. I ordered myself a baseboard buddy.
Oh, so context clues. That's just something to.
It looks
It's something where you don't have to bend over.
Yeah, it looks like a Swiffer. But it's got the right curvature and the right kind of microfiber cloths and things like that so that you can just sort of glide down the hallway and get those
awesome.
baseboards because mine collect very quickly.
I love that word, curvature.
Yeah.
Our mother, when she comes to my house, God love her, she says it in such the nicest way too. She'll walk up, like if I want to show her something upstairs, I have these stair rails that's got some wood around it or whatever. She'll go, oh, and don't forget you can use the Swiffer on that. That's her way of saying it's dusty. Will you please dust it? I'm like, okay, mother, thank you. So that reminded me of it when you said that.
I had this weird thought. I shouldn't even say this.
I mean, she's right. It's just funny the way she approaches it.
I was thinking, with the move and, Dad fell. He had a bad fall.
He fell yesterday too, by the way.
Did he really?
Yeah, shoveling around the mailbox because he wanted the postal service to be able to have access because otherwise they'll put.
Well, that's what they've been telling us.
Right.
We haven't had mail all week.
Well, we have group mailboxes, but in mom and dad's section they have their own.
Yeah.
So I don't have to worry about it, but they do. Otherwise, they'll get a notice that says you need to clear it off, or we can't, or you have to come to the post office to get it. And he fell. Now he tells me he's okay, but when our mom told us that or told me that on the phone, I go, "Gosh, dang it! Like, why does he do that?"
Okay, this needs to stop. But it's stuff like that just yesterday, and I think it's because I was cleaning, and it does wear me out, and it does hurt, with my back, and I thought, mom and dad, this move was very hard on them, and dad felt like, what would happen if something happened to dad? Like I would definitely want to live with mom. I'd want to just be there with her all day, but then again, she'd probably put me to work.
Right. And I think one of the first things she told me on the phone was, I told him not to do it. Like,
Yeah.
she wanted to make sure that I wasn't like blaming her.
That's right. Right.
But he did slip. Now he says he's fine. He goes, I fell on the right side. And I go, wait a minute, like right as in right versus left or like the correct side? He goes like the correct side. Well, then he like pointed at his right side. He's like, it was the other side that I didn't fall, whatever. So you get what I'm saying? He fell on the side that he didn't fall on a couple weeks ago or whatever. So he's good.
So he's balanced.
Yeah, he had a fresh, like whatever you call it, like a blank canvas to fall on because he didn't have any
balanced injury.
Yeah, because he didn't have any other bruises from the other one.
Oh Lord,
Yeah,
mom
God
and
love
dad,
him.
quit.
Yeah, stop working outside.
Stop.
When it's treacherous.
It is treacherous. One of our Grandma Dorse's favorite words.
Yeah, but I actually went over there to have coffee this morning only because I had to return their car that they let me borrow because my luckless son, he has the worst vehicle look I've ever. He blows his tire out on Christmas Day. Thankfully, he did it on the exit ramp right by my house. So I picked him up. He got it towed. He got it all fixed. So I was driving their little condo car. It looks like a little
Festiva.
What was the thing that was? Oh, roller skate. Looks like a little roller skate.
It does.
Yeah, I call it if you're a Gen X, you know what micro machines are.
Yes.
It looks like a micro machine or a little roller skate. It's like a little white Chevy Sonic. But it's LT. It's the LT package. Look out. So if anybody wants to spin some tires later. But
35 miles an hour on the expressway.
yeah, but I told mom because I knew they were going to the grocery. I was like, I'll return the car. I'll have some coffee with you, and I'll talk to dad about his fall. So anyway, my point of that is I went to their house this morning and their driveway is awful. I mean, the most, the most acrobatic person, the most like balanced person, the young strapping person would fall in their driveway.
Oh, my
it's
goodness.
completely awful right now. Their driveway is. It's like a skating rink. I
Well-
need a Zamboni in their driveway.
Well, we careful what you wish for. We haven't had, man, not only have we not had snow in years, we haven't had winter in years. We've talked about this. The weather here in the Ohio Valley is so weird like that. And we'll get a snowstorm coming from the west. And then just as it approaches Indiana, Kentucky, it will divide
Yeah, exactly.
over the Ohio Valley,
exactly.
and then reconverge. Is that the
Right.
word?
Yeah. It's like there's a special weather being that's out there going and like blowing it into like a fork in like a fork pattern.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then it's like, ha ha. It's like shakes its finger.
Suckers.
Yeah, sucker.
Enjoy your milk and bread.
What is it about milk and bread? Like,
I don't know.
Jeez.
I don't know, but I'll tell you this: when we're snowed in, that's the last thing I reach for is milk and bread.
I haven't had bread in like a year. Hey. And why does it only snow after Christmas if it does snow?
Hey, in my defense, that is the only reason my Christmas decorations are still up.
Yeah, mine are too, actually.
My husband talked me into it. Of course, I can't really put them away without his help because I need his strength to carry in the tubs from the garage.
Sure, Terry. Oh, go ahead.
Right?
No, finish. Go ahead.
So he says, "Oh, we'll just keep them up. Enjoy the snow with the Christmas decorations." I'm like, "Oh, you're right. You're right. Good point." So my decorations are still up. This is late for me.
That's a very next level husband's way of saying, I really don't feel
Really
like getting all that
feel
shit
like
out. So you do you, boo. You enjoy what you need to enjoy.
I saw through it, but at the same time, I was going to let him. I'd be like, "I'm going to let you have this one."
Oh, I hate it. You were staying on business. Hey, but listen, I have mine up, as you know, because you're here. But I don't make any qualms about it because I made a personal choice to keep mine up until my birthday, which is tomorrow.
Tomorrow, happy birthday, to
My
Joe.
birthday is tomorrow.
You'll be
45.
45.
45, which is older than, or the same age as Chevy Chase when he filmed Christmas Vacation.
Hard to believe.
Hard to believe.
Hard to stomach.
makes
Even
me
think
sad
of
a
that.
little
I know. It makes me also think of Death Becomes Her, one of my favorite
Oh, it's a
movies.
great movie.
Oh
It's a
my
great
gosh.
movie.
Bruce Willis is at his best.
Sad what's going on with him, though, by the way, health wise.
Yes, I know. I know.
But that was prime. That was prime Bruce Willis.
I mean, comedic Bruce Willis, it doesn't get better than Death Becomes Her. And so his storyline ends up, life begins at 50 because he opts out of that potion, as we know. Mm-hmm. And so I think about that a lot. Given our age, we're approaching the big 50, and it's like you and I have set some goals, some exciting goals, like for travel and just things to look forward to that we haven't done before. And, it can be depressing to think about our age, but when you think ahead to all the fun things we have planned, it's like,
Yeah,
it's like fresh start.
I always tell people it's like I think of life in like two halves. If you're talking like basketball terms, like
Yeah.
I just finished my first half.
Yeah.
I went to the locker room for halftime, celebrating my 45th.
Yeah.
Now it's time for the second half.
2025 is going to be lit.
Yeah, I'm going out there in the layup line, getting ready for my second half. I'm gonna be
2025 is going to be lit.
all things Joe 2025.
What do the kids say now? It's going to be all cap
Yeah.
or no cap or off the chain or I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
if you're a Big Bang fan, when Amy goes, man, it's really coming up all things Amy.
Or when they're getting ready for the prom and he's got the flask and it's going to be off the hook.
Yeah, God, that show's amazing.
I know. That show's on loop for me
Yeah,
all year round.
I'm on season 8, by the way. So okay,
Okay, well, let's talk about.
dive
Here's the
in.
crazy thing. It's only been 3 weeks. It's only been a week since we had our show planned out.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like 3 lifetimes have gone by just since last Sunday because I had to update my notes on what's new because what's new wasn't new anymore.
right. It's fluid.
It's
Fluid.
So
It's a moving target, if you will.
we are going to talk about some things that were relevant last Sunday, and also we've updated some notes here. So let's talk
let's
about
dive in.
what was going on in the past week. Well, the Medal of Freedom was given out. Mm-hmm. That is supposed to be a high honor. It's like the highest.
It's like the highest civilian honor.
Civilian
there is.
honor. And it's awarded by the President of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it has to be asked. Did Joe Biden really pick these people? Who's in charge?
Right.
And who has been in charge the last 4 years? I feel like there's been just a shadow government thing
Yeah.
happening.
What kind of freaking selection committee exists for that?
It's been literally like a weekend at Bernie's kind of experience with our president
Yeah.
for the last 4 years. So I don't really know who made these choices. However,
Yeah, is it like a group of like 23-year-old Starbucks carrying interns or something? Like what?
I did see online.
Like TikTokers or something?
I did see online who runs his Twitter account,
Oh God,
who speaks as the president, and it's like, I think her name's Megan.
Megan.
Megan,
Like
and she looks
talks
like
she talks like a young babysitter.
she talks like a Megan, and she looks like a Megan.
Oh, listen, you don't have to say any more. I've got the full picture in my head.
Right.
It's painted. That's crazy.
So anyway, but
I mean, there was one choice that I really liked, and I think you probably would agree
I
with it.
think we could say it at the same time.
Ready?
One, two, three.
Michael J.
Fox.
Yep. I mean, honestly, that guy has been through hell and back with his disease, and
What a treasure! What a Canadian and American treasure!
yeah, amazing.
What joy he's brought. I mean, we obviously Back to the Future franchise, but even before that, Alex P. Keaton.
Family Ties.
I named my daughter after Mallory, his sister, on the show, Justine Bateman. And can I just say, Joe, it's your birthday tomorrow, but you got me an awesome Christmas gift. I just want all our listeners to know that we are now recording on a beautiful, brand new, midnight blue MacBook Air.
Yeah, I'm afraid to touch it.
I'm afraid
you
to
should
touch
be.
it.
Oh, hang on. I'm gonna put my finger on it.
Okay.
Oh, man, that thing does feel
Isn't
fresh.
she beautiful?
She is midnight blue.
Speaking
and
of
fresh.
Speaking of Michael J. Fox and Family Ties, I've named her Justine in honor of Justine Bateman
That's awesome.
because she's amazing and
She
an
is
ass
amazing.
kicker.
She is amazing. I love her. I love following her on X.
She's a great follow.
But the Michael J. Fox thing, I think, was very warranted.
Yes.
He's done a lot for Parkinson's. It's like just advocacy and
Awareness.
yeah, he's kind of
and
like
research.
he's kind of like my life is going to be what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But he's just built basically his whole life around trying to speak about it and get awareness and raise money. And
Mm-hmm.
so he's kind of like the gold standard as it relates to Parkinson's awareness and
and just a
foundations.
good dude. Just
Seems like a good, solid dude. It's almost amazing that really that franchise, the Back to the Future franchise, I mean, Gen Xers lived and breathed that growing up. I mean, you listen to the Huey Lewis tracks, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what I associate. Anytime I hear the sports album, I think of that movie.
absolutely.
But he really didn't do a ton outside of that. But the few things that he did do that are so well known,
Left such a mark.
he just left such a mark. And he wasn't even the original Marty McFly.
I know.
That's the crazy part. It's like, I'd almost hate to see what would happen if he wasn't.
I mean, I like Eric Stoltz, all right.
Sure, for sure. But yeah, I liked
hard
that.
to imagine.
I liked that pick. I think that
I
was
did
awesome.
too. I did too. And some
But
other.
there were a couple.
There were a couple I thought were pretty good.
What was the other one you liked, or a couple? Of the other,
I liked Ralph Lauren getting one. Ralph Lauren is, as we know, an American fashion designer, and of course he's got colognes, and I mean he has a whole empire.
Mm-hmm.
But it is very. It's like in the fashion. It's the Americana of fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's always an American flag on a sweater. You know it's Ralph Lauren.
right? Yeah.
So I thought that was a great pick.
Yeah. That's when you know you're super powerful in this world, when you can associate just like a picture
I
that's not
know.
even you.
Right.
You can associate like a brand or like a logo, and that's what you think of. That's how you know
Yeah, and
you've made it.
Just his style and design has been a staple in the fashion industry.
yeah.
Just a very, even his new stuff, it's just all very timeless. His designs are so timeless.
Yeah, because if you think about, sorry, we're getting off on a Ralph Lauren tangent, but if you think about him in that Friends episode where he's going in and
Yeah.
out of the elevator and that tall woman was like, "Oh my God, you could cut that tension with a knife," and she thought Rachel had an affair with him or whatever.
Right.
Like I remember, like this is how stupid I am. I remember what he was wearing in those scenes, and even like what he was wearing then in the early '90s, mid '90s, I would wear that now.
right, because it's not trendy,
So
it's
to
classic.
your point, it's classic, it's timeless. Yeah,
Classic and timeless.
Good
So
call on that.
was a good one. And I mean, Anna Wintour. Do you know her?
you'll have to educate me on that one.
She's up there. She's an old woman, but also very classy, stylish icon. Anna Wintour is the editor-in-chief of Vogue.
Oh wow,
And has been since the mid 80s.
wow.
Since the mid 80s, ladies and gentlemen, she has been helping women all over the world find their G spots and overcome breakups every single month.
Oh, 10 ways to lose a guy, or stuff like that.
How to overcome a breakup.
Oh yeah, I mean Vogue, same thing. Vogue's a huge brand, and
Yeah.
everybody in our, or at least our era, knows it or should.
There were two picks that I found a little
I/we. Yeah, we. I
little
mean,
troubling.
very troubling.
I mean,
which
but
one do you
not
want
at
to
all
start?
surprising.
No, it's not. It's not. I mean, it's not.
Let's start with the lesser of the two evils.
Oh God, George Soros.
No,
Hillary. Okay.
Hillary Clinton is the lesser of
thought
two
you were
evils.
gonna say the
there.
other one.
Believe it or not. Okay. I mean,
Okay.
let's talk. Let's give the Medal of Freedom to someone who has been shrouded in scandal after scandal after scandal for decades, and who has somehow spent her adult life in public service, yet enriched herself by millions.
Yeah,
I don't think any public servant should leave the office millions and millions wealthier
Agreed.
while still in office. I mean, I get book
Whilst
deals.
still in office.
I get book deals and shows. I get that, but that comes after you've served, right?
Yeah, I agree with that. The issue has become, you could say that about both sides. There's, you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
That's what I don't like.
Absolutely.
So-
Absolutely. It's one of the reasons that I'm not afraid to say I'm a Trump supporter. It's one of the first things about him that attracted me as a voter was he's not owned by anybody.
Yeah, he's like, you should be in jail.
And yeah. And he's a pimp, straight pimp.
Right.
But yeah, I see it on both sides. I have become very like in the last 9 years, because of the reaction to Donald Trump being president, because of the response to him, so much has been revealed that I can never unsee. And I've become so anti-establishment. But Clinton was an odd choice, but not a surprising one.
No, none of this is surprising. Like you've already said that. None of this is surprising. But,
But the second one,
well, on the Clinton thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the Benghazi stuff that was a huge issue. You've got the Whitewater scandal. You've got people that are associated with the Clintons that end up dying mysteriously or committing suicide, stuff like that.
right.
So
It's become a meme.
yeah, but like to your point, I agree that, and listen, I'm conservative. We know it's not a secret if you know me. Proud to say that, and I should be, just like just like my progressive liberal friends should be proud to say that they are, because
sure.
that's the freedom that we have. But you are absolutely correct. I think the best way for me to say it is like you talk about scandal upon scandal. It's like she's generationally scandalous.
Yes.
Generationally, so that means from the 80s to the 90s to the
Decades.
Every decade there's something going on that's a scandal, and it's very shady.
Very
that
shady.
family.
Well, I thought she was the lesser of two evils, which I saw the surprised look on your face. But Mr. Soros, that one made my jaw drop. Not going to lie. Mm-hmm. Because now, if you were to Wikipedia this guy,
You could spend hours.
what I'm about to say will be spelled out for you as a conspiracy theory kind of wackadoodle opinion. However, if you dig a little deeper, spend 5 minutes more going down the hole of what he owns and who he owns, you'd understand why Wikipedia. I'm just saying, look it up.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Look who owns Wikipedia
Yeah.
and tell me I'm wrong. But
No, you're not.
he has spent millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars destroying our country.
Yeah, and you know how he made his money, right?
Yes.
Yeah, like some short sale for like UK currency.
Like destroyed their bank.
back in like the whatever it was, early 80s or whatever it was, and like he made like $10 billion on this
Yeah.
like short sale.
Like destroyed
Yeah.
the bank, the British bank.
He's just really weird, like turtle looking, like his eyes are really weird looking, like Hungarian.
Now I'm not going to go for looks,
I'm
man.
gonna go there. I'm gonna go there.
You go right ahead.
No, I'm just joking. But he, like a Hungarian immigrant, gets super rich doing the short sale.
Now,
But then he starts donating to like, billions upon billions to like liberal super PACs.
is it billions? It's probably billions.
Oh, his donations to liberal super. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Super PACs. I mean, he's billions.
Yes. And his foundations.
Well, the other issue I have is
That he supports.
the whole Israel the pro-Israel support kind
Yes.
of movement or whatever versus Palestinians. Like he has literally funded Hamas. This is, I mean, you can Google this. He has funded Hamas, which is a terrorist organization. He has funded Hamas support NGOs, which is a non-governmental organization. That's not up for debate. That's not opinion. That's
But
fact.
in the interest of self-protection, let's just say we could be wrong.
Okay, sure. I could be wrong.
We could be wrong.
Yeah, we could be wrong, even though I'm not. But
He has done more to destroy the fabric of this country through, and he was very clever about it because eventually he stopped focusing on, larger party concerns and started going right for district attorneys, which was genius because now we have rogue DAs all across the United States. And I forget the percentage, but it was recently, I think in 2022, it was recently published in some paper, a percentage of the Soros-funded district attorney counties have just like crime has skyrocketed, robberies, homicides, just because of his he's pushing candidates with progressive agendas.
very progressive, yeah.
Under the guise, now I can't read his mind. He will say that it's, to decriminalize, and he would like people to think that it's about prison reform and that sort of thing, fixing our broken justice system, which is not perfect. I am well aware, but district attorneys get to decide what laws to enforce, basically.
I don't think
What crimes to ignore and what crimes to sort of pull out of your ass if you want to.
Yeah, these are like shower thoughts that I have to myself.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, I'll be like literally like washing myself in the shower. I'll be like, and it'll hit me. I'll go, people cannot. This is a literal thought I had. It was so random. I was like, people cannot fathom how corrupt the system is.
It is so.
I was just having that thought
It's the
in my
worst.
head. We have no idea. It's like people like George Soros, the people that like are the loudest about how corrupt the system is. They're the ones that typically excessively feed it. You know what I mean?
They profit off of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, listen, I remember and I really did not intend on getting too political today,
Sure.
but I'm old enough to remember in the campaign of 2020 where they literally spent a year leading up to that election telling us how we needed to, quote, dismantle the system.
Mm-hmm.
And then when January 6th happened, proceeded to tell us how devastated we should feel and frightened we should feel because an attempt to dismantle that system failed. Mm-hmm. That's when I officially gave them the fuck you.
Yeah.
Like all of you.
I feel you.
All of you in DC can go to hell.
Yeah.
None of you are for me.
Yeah.
You just spent the last year telling me that this system needs to be wrecked. And now you're upset that an attempted coup, you like to call it an attempted coup, failed. Mm-hmm. I thought we were supposed to be excited about that.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's the people who lie to me most hate Trump the most, and that's all I need to know.
Yeah.
But Soros, back to to give him the Medal of Freedom, and you can't criticize him or you're called anti-Semitic, but he himself admittedly grew up in an anti-Semitic home.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Look.
I mean, the highest civilian honor. I mean, the highest. You think about that. He really deserves the highest.
Because of all the money he's given.
His attachments to these different terror. I just can't. I can't.
But the damage.
I can't wrap my mind around.
And he's also behind. Well, I could be wrong. But spend 10 minutes on the web. It don't take that long.
Yeah. Click, click, click.
Click, click.
I'm chicken pecking.
If you follow the trail of what he owns and what they give, who they give to, and what those organizations do, they recruit, activate, organize, protest. Like all these protests that were popping up in you knew they were not organic. You knew they weren't. Mm-hmm. They were funded. And I just think that.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. So
here's how I know somebody's a piece of garbage. Here's how I know, like Soros for like just
We're coming in hot.
yeah. Since Soros is what this is the topic here. Here's how I know Soros is a piece of garbage, and you're gonna agree with me on this one because I know how you think.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm gonna hit it very plainly. If you're most, and I love, like I said, we do believe a certain way typically.
But although I should
Traditionally.
say, I do not identify as a conservative and haven't for some time.
So
Trump inspired me to be a liberal.
okay, so my point is, because I don't want to lose the point,
Right.
is we are what we are. We think the way we think. We still, I feel like you and I respect our friends who think differently.
Absolutely.
You want to talk about it? Great. We'll listen, whatever. But here's how I know he's a piece of garbage. Because none of my more outspoken liberal friends on the left have ever once that I've seen, and I'm pretty active on, X and all the political stuff. I've not seen one person on Instagram, Facebook, X, whatever, Snap, whatever. I've not seen one tweet or post about George Soros being a worthy person, being a good person. You know what I mean?
Making the world a better place.
Not one. Not one. They're radio silent.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
Because they know.
Again, I'm like, yeah, it's like a rhetorical question. Why is that? I'm saying this to people listening. Why is that?
Right.
If he was so great and he was deserving of this award, why haven't I seen one? Not one. And not even my friends. I've not seen the left nationally post
Say,
one thing positive.
Great decision.
Yeah, George Soros is an awesome man.
Good call.
George Soros is an honorable man. I've not seen one. Not one.
Right.
That's how I know he's a piece of garbage.
Yeah. It's pretty telling.
Yeah. I mean, that's an elementary way to explain it. That's how I know. You would have more people going back and forth debating that he is or he isn't, but nobody even mentions him in that vein at all, ever.
You're right. I've not noticed that from either side. Yeah.
Like with the Trump thing, you have one side that says he's the worst human being that's ever
Right.
been born on this planet, which is
since June of 2015.
but doesn't
But
matter,
not before then.
Doesn't matter what side you fall on. That's the most ridiculous thought or statement that anybody has ever made. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
The most whatever. But you have one side that hates him, absolutely hates his guts. You have the other side that loves him. And you have two sides that you have the side that loves him saying they love him because he's done this, this, and this. You do not have that with George Soros. You can't find it.
Yeah.
You cannot find it.
That's true. I've not noticed that. Okay. Well, let's move on.
Okay.
Trudeau.
What are you talking about?
Our Canadian listeners out there, we have a big Canadian following here, and I
Tread lightly, Mary Beth.
no, I'm asking in all honesty and sincerity. I'd really love to hear from our listeners in Canada. I'd love to hear what you think about this news. We have our American perspective. I don't know what it's like living under a Trudeau regime. I think one of the worst, most egregious things I saw from his party and his administration, if that's what they call it, but the truck drivers. You remember that? The truck driver protest in Canada?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
They made it so that they couldn't even use their debit cards. Like, they were basically going to starve these guys out. I mean, you can line up for miles and miles and in your protest, and that's fine, but you can't use the bank. I mean, what the hell is that? It's evil. It's evil is what it is.
Yeah, he just seems like a little bit of a wanker, to be honest with you.
He does. He's very weak energy.
That's kind of what I'm getting at when I say that.
He is not masculine energy at all.
Yeah, a little effeminate.
He's very handsome and he seems very charming. But as a leader of a country, I need some big dick energy.
Yikes.
You've heard of that. BDE?
I have.
I need some BDE.
You just came out with
Even
it.
if it's a woman.
Yeah.
I need some big dick energy because masculinity makes civilizations rise and fall.
Yeah, I want to see like a leader that can take that Game of Thrones sword. That's hard to say. And force it or like face it forward and go onward, like on, let's go. Like
I want to see Jon Snow in front of the horses in Battle of the Bastards.
Yeah, he's no Jon Snow.
And he's
like I just couldn't get behind that dude.
And also what his what they were trying to do to Jordan Peterson. I mean, take his license away and all this. It's just ugh. There's a lot of issues with the free speech debate.
Why would you restrict such a mind like that? You know what I mean?
Because he was hurting feelings.
I know, but you would think somebody that...
Well, people couldn't separate the fact that he was saying, you go down this road at your peril. As a society goes down this road where we're telling each other what we can and cannot say at our peril. And anytime throughout the beginning of history, anytime that's happened, tens of millions of people have died.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it starts, is when you tell people what they can think and say, because free speech is the free thought.
Mm-hmm.
And so people couldn't separate his argument from the fact that he is such a compassionate, loving, and thoughtful person. Like, you personally go up to Jordan Peterson or have a relationship with him and say, I prefer to be called this, this, or this. And he would do that out of respect for you. But he would not allow his country to mandate it by law, you know.
Yeah. Regardless of whether or not you agree with somebody like Dr. Peterson.
Well,
I mean,
like Trudeau gave him such a hard time. So.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, regardless of where you stand, you can't restrict like thought leaders like him. You know what I mean? Like they're so
for better or worse.
They're so thought provoking. Like, you need people like that for better or for worse.
Yeah.
To thrive as a system, as an economy, as a
well,
country.
yeah, to hash out the ideas.
You can't
and
restrict people that aren't afraid to say what they feel.
Yeah,
you know,
and to have him go up against people who disagree with him, and so we can weed out the bad ideas from the
it's
good.
It's just so dangerous to do that.
It is,
regardless of how you feel.
It is. So I thought that was interesting, and I mean, he gave his reasons, and I know that there's some internal issues, some in-party problems with the Liberal Party that he's a leader of. I just thought I thought the timing was really strange, and I wondered I feel like since Trump got elected, like some people that I follow have mentioned the Trump effect, and there's some kind of energy that feels different this time going in, and he's not even
like inaugurated.
He's not even inaugurated yet, and things are happening.
He's like shape shifting.
He
like
is.
Just his presence is like forcing other countries to like react differently.
You know, he invited foreign leaders to the inauguration, which is not something we do.
It's not common. I think I had seen that.
It's not something we do.
Yeah.
Which I think is amazing, because it's almost as if he's creating this exclusive club that other leaders I want to be a part of.
Yeah. Where's my invite? Well, my invite must have got lost in the mail.
I just think, you know, we're in for strong leadership again because of how other countries are responding to.
Yeah, they're reacting. It's he's very, very polarizing for sure.
Yeah, I'll give him that, and I'm here for it. Every bit of it.
Yeah, it's entertaining if nothing else.
Okay, here's something else. Mark Zuckerberg. Mm-hmm. He's made news this week. He's been on Joe Rogan,
which is like the highest like volume of like listeners ever of any podcast.
He's the top.
Yeah, it's crazy.
If you've been on Rogan, you've made it. But I mean, Mark Zuckerberg made it a long time ago. Mm-hmm. Here's something that I have been thinking about, because I'm seeing some backlash from the right on Zuckerberg. You know, people on the right are pissed. You know, we've been treated like shit since 2015. I mean, we were treated like shit before, but not to the level.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Just for who we voted for.
We've just been red-assed since 2015.
And so there's a lot of understandable backlash where, like, I don't trust him, too little, too late, you know, and I understand that sentiment. But when I look back on the last few years, and I remember Dorsey, the guy in charge of Jack Dorsey, is that his name?
Keep going. I
From
think
Twitter.
Oh, yeah. It is Jack Dorsey. Yep.
So
you're talking about the one that owned it, or
yes. So I feel like I've always felt, even though I felt that he was wrong, I always felt a vibe of good intentions from Mark Zuckerberg. I just felt like his politics were wrong, and that he was. It concerned me Like his politics are wrong to me for whatever reason. That doesn't matter. What matters is his politics are wrong, and he runs the biggest social media platform,
most influential
right.
platform that exists.
And so this is like he's the first to the table. He's the first to create this sort of digital space, this new town square where information is being, there's gatekeeping now. And my big concern was always, no matter how well-intentioned you are, dude, you cannot censor people. You've got to fix this algorithm. You cannot do this. And so I feel like the Biden administration was a big eye-opener for him because of what he is now admitting and has admitted in the past, I think under oath.
He has.
Yes.
Yeah. But if you go on Rogan and admit that, that's hitting a lot of ears.
Exactly.
And that also tells you that he's not holding back. Like he's like, this is what it is.
Yeah. And some people are like, oh, it's just because Trump threatened him or whatever. And when they asked Trump, they're like, do you think it's because you said that he might have to pay some he goes, probably. He doesn't care. Yeah. Like he just knows how to make things happen.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think Zuckerberg would have done this anyway. I think he was already on that path before the election because I saw an interview where he talked about, the assassination attempt and what a moment that was in history. And so I felt like the wind's changing. But to see him on Rogan saying these things that we all knew, we all knew were happening, and we were like crucified as being ridiculous, stupid, tinfoil hat wearing. We knew people were being censored. We knew shadow banning was real. We knew how important it was to not censor. We knew it was happening on Twitter. And then when Elon Musk bought Twitter, I feel like he potentially saved Western civilization by buying Twitter because he opened that box.
But Mary Beth, wait, he had to let go of 80% of and everybody's like,
and you know what? It runs better than it ever did.
Yeah, I'm like, and?
Yeah, I don't care about that.
And?
He bought it. He can do what he wants with it, but he opened up those files for the world to see.
I know, but those people are automatically assuming that it was efficient, that those people were doing what they were supposed to be doing.
Hell no.
You know what I mean?
Hell no.
I think Zuckerberg, this is just Joe's opinion, I think Zuckerberg is just tired. I think he's tired of having to rationalize things to people, like having to skate around different things that he wants to just say, here's really how it is.
I mean, I can't imagine. Can you imagine being in that position with a government? And he was saying, like he said on Rogan, they would call my people and scream and curse, from vitamin about what to censor.
Yeah, when you're in his kind of position,
that's got to suck.
I mean, yeah, you. There's implications. Like you could go to big boy prison,
right?
For one little misstep.
We'd all love to think that we'd be stronger. I don't think I would be. I'd be scared to death.
Listen. I mean, I feel like I do pretty well in my position, and I'm nobody compared to like a Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
And you want to complain that he makes how much ever he makes, or whatever CEO at a top Fortune 500 company makes, you try it.
Well,
hey, listen, you try it.
He talked about some things that contributed to his sort of flip. I don't know if you'd call it a flip, but he said that when it got to the point where they were basically making them censor things that were true. He's like, I understand that you don't like people talking about vaccine side effects.
Right.
But if it's true, we can't hide this information. Just like they hid the story in Twitter, they purposely buried and banned people who shared the Biden laptop story before the election, which is election interference because you're talking about millions and millions of votes, and that was a slim race. So I'm not one of those people who are going to give him a bunch of shit for being a little late to the party. And I don't mean political party. I'm just saying I think that his mind has genuinely been changed about his role in our current, I guess, what would you call it, market of ideas.
Right.
His role is incredibly important, and I love that Elon Musk came in with BDE, right, and set the tone.
I know what that means now because you explained it.
Right, because he has said, our first episode, I talked about one of the best things about the year was when Elon Musk bought Twitter, and he told the head of Disney, you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I love Twitter now.
Yeah.
Even more.
But he's not afraid, you know, and so I think he's leading by example, and that's probably a big part of what inspired Mark Zuckerberg to have the courage to come forward and say, you know what, we can't censor. Free speech is first and foremost, and I want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
And so I think it's awesome, and it's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a big deal, and it's a long fucking time coming.
Yeah, no, I think,
because we knew it was happening.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're saying it all very, very well. I know I personally think that First Amendment rights, I feel like, have been pretty stable in our country for decades. I mean, for the most part. But I just feel like right now it's like censorship is like proliferating, and it's really troubling.
Oh my gosh!
It's like you said, we're seeing tremendous attacks on First Amendment freedoms just all across the U.S. At all levels of government. It's just troubling. Especially when it's like you said, when it's like when you know it's right, or you know it's good, or it's wholesome, or whatever it is, and they're like purposely trying to.
I'm just talking about truth.
Yeah.
You know, either way,
right.
like
truth. Yeah.
Truth.
The truth.
The truth.
Yeah. Not your truth.
Not yours.
The truth.
Not mine. But the truth, and there's only one way to get there, and it's to hear everything.
Right. Exactly.
And yeah, I was really troubled in early 2020 when everyone was dancing a jig, their little victory lap when they just one by one wiped Trump off the grid.
Yep.
And I'm like, y'all, when you sober up, you'll realize that if they can do this to the leader of the free friggin' world, they can do it to you.
Yeah.
And then it won't be social media. It'll be your bank, your email accounts. Amazon won't sell to you. I mean, just on and on.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
It's a big deal.
It's also troubling to me that I feel like we hear and see so many politicians today, just in general, waving that flag of freedom and talking about the flag of freedom.
Ugh.
And they literally seems like they do all they can to infringe on
yes.
your freedom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
In the most self-serving ways possible.
So that's what I don't like. Our dad, as you know, former Air Force guy, he would always even say, like, I don't trust any national politician.
No.
Any.
Yeah.
So
I can't believe how naive I used to be as a self-identified conservative. Like, no. No.
There's definitely no one political group that has a monopoly on censorship, I don't think. Unfortunately, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Or corruption.
Yeah, aggression is just kind of increasing across the whole spectrum, if you will.
Yeah, and I think that there's one of my biggest concerns is that we are losing just not as a country, but in the West, we are losing sight of why free speech matters and why you have to untangle yourself emotionally from hurtful words. Okay? Like, should you be a decent person and not call people names and blah, blah, blah?
For sure.
Of course.
Yeah.
But go back and study your history again and look at what happens when governments are the gatekeepers of truth. When they control what you can say, what you see, what you read. It's just unreal that people don't take that more seriously.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's like if you're a good and decent human being, it's like you said, you care about people's feelings, but we as a society cannot govern based on feelings.
No.
You can't do it.
And you
can't do it effectively.
And you can't censor.
You can't censor. It's
But anyway, we got quite a box there, dude.
Listen, look at us.
Look at us on that box. And then finally, TikTok ban. Looks like a TikTok ban's around the
I've
corner.
seen that more recently.
Yeah?
I've seen people on X say things like, well, while we still have TikTok, I want to, and then they'll call something out like a trend of some sort, or whatever's going on with the talk, with the tickety talk.
And you're not on TikTok, are you?
Hell no. Not on
I'm
Facebook.
on TikTok, but I don't make any videos. I just scroll.
No, I'm not on Facebook.
I could waste hours and hours on TikTok.
I mean, I get the draw of it. I see it. Like I see the reels and stuff. I understand
the addiction. It's
I understand
social
the
media
addiction of it.
I don't really care either way, honestly. I understand completely why.
Oh well, I don't care because I don't have one. So.
Well, you get why they are talking about. I mean, the law that was passed that Biden signed has more to do with who owns TikTok. And so,
Correct.
yeah. Is it a free speech issue? Is it a national security issue? And I think it's both.
Got them drones, baby.
Yeah, I mean, the company that owns it is controlled by,
You can say it.
the CCP.
You can say it. That's why I said drones. If you can catch that.
Yeah. If we were monetized, we'd be so demonetized right now.
But we're not. So fuck it. Hey, but we can do.
You can say the D word.
Yeah, we're like Wayne's World before they got all try to get all corporate in that movie.
Right. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the ban apparently is right around the corner. Yeah, I don't know.
How are we going to survive without all these cool TikTok trends? Like, get ready with me.
Hey,
What is it? I think that you like these the ASMR videos. You familiar?
ASMR.
ASMR. I don't remember exactly what that acronym stands for. It's audio, but it's where like you know what I'm talking about.
Hey, it's
like people that are restocking their drawers and they make those noises.
the
It's
girls with the long nails
yes,
tapping on their
and
shampoo bottle.
and it does something to you internally where it gives you some type of like
Dopamine
yeah
rush.
jolt and like it makes you tingle based on these sounds that you hear that are satisfying.
Have you seen the stocking videos where they just empty their fridge and then they're just like
That's what I was that's what I was just describing earlier when you were talking about the nails. I said you can hear those sounds when
Right.
they're redoing,
That's what I'm talking- like
reorganizing stuff.
of that genre, the fridge stocking, the drawer
I
stocking.
heard you say that during Christmas.
Those are one of my favorite.
So like I was restocking my snack drawer the other day and I was making that noise on purpose. I was like, Mary Beth would like this.
Exactly.
Like I was like replacing and like replenishing that
I
drawer.
love it so much.
I just remember you saying that. So yeah, there's
It's
those.
so stimulating.
There's like the lip sync comedies. Like what in the hell are we going to do without those if it goes away?
I have never understood that. Back when it was Musically,
I forgot about Musical.ly.
I never understood the
Holy
point. I'm like,
crap.
why are you taking other people's material and just lip syncing to it? That's the dumbest shit I've ever seen. It's so not creative.
Yeah.
But now I get it.
Yeah.
Now I get it. Now I love to watch dogs lip sync to
Classic.
I'm just a baby.
The classic. And then there's always the dance competitions, I like seeing like our daughters like when they're together and they put the phone against the wall and they start doing these little
I
dance.
do like the
numbers.
dance trends.
That stuff is
I
funny.
do like the dance trends.
And then there's like the Delulu.
What's Delulu?
Isn't that? I think it has something to do with like you're delusional. They call it Delulu. It's like a TikTok thing.
Oh,
Yeah, I think it's like.
I don't think I exist on the cool side of TikTok.
Yeah, but I had just heard that before. I think it's something to that effect. Like it's like you're saying something or someone is delusional and you do a video about it or something and they like hashtag it Delulu or they.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well,
I think. I
think
hope I'm
that
not
if-
wrong, but I
if
think
TikTok goes away, some of the things that I will miss and not miss. I will miss my pilots.
Your pilot.
Girls, get yourself on TikTok before it goes away. Look up some pilots, some pilot videos.
Like what? Like what are the videos of?
Well,
Like just their physical appearance or like them flying planes?
so they got the real like skin tight pilot jumpsuit on.
Mm-hmm.
They got the Ray-Bans, the aviators.
They're feeling the need for speed.
They're getting into their jets and they're taking off and just doing badass stuff in the air.
Are you trying to get me tingly?
Looking
Are you
good,
trying to get
doing
me
it.
tingly?
Hey, girls, run, do not walk.
Because I appreciate the female variety.
Well, there are some cute female pilots on there too, but I will miss the pilots.
Maybe I'll start a burner account today. Hey, just check that out.
And it's always set to the music. It's the same old thing since night. Yeah, it's like-
Disturbed?
yes.
Oh, that dude does a classic
Yes.
rendition of that.
So imagine-
In your head,
Yes. Imagine sexy pilots to that
they
song.
are finer.
Yeah,
Oh,
I-
dude, that dude rocks.
I
by
could
the way.
waste so much time.
Oh, okay.
I would miss the pilots.
Okay. I can get
And
down with that.
I'm all about the animals. Like, show me some baby elephants getting a sense of their trunk and what it's for. It's hilarious.
I just love when Jennifer sends us those dog ones. Those are really funny. Of course, I can't open them half the time
right, because you're not
because it'll take me right to the app store where I have
Right.
to like get it. And I don't want to do that.
Well, my favorite is TikTok dogs. Dogs on TikTok are amazing, and they fill hours of my time that I should be doing something else. But they're the cutest things.
So it makes you worthless. Okay, cool.
It does. And
It's a time suck.
so I've actually been thinking over the last few days, if I lose TikTok, I'll get so much accomplished.
Hey, damn!
Damn it.
I have to be productive.
There's a design concept on TikTok that's all the rage. It's called intentional clutter. And what it is
I hate it because I hate that word.
I know. I live clutter free.
We
live clutter free. And it's very important to live clutter free because, if you have clutter in your physical space, you have clutter in your head space, right?
1,000,000%.
However, intentional clutter is different. It's not the same thing as, say, dropping your mail and your keys on the kitchen counter and just leaving them there. Intentional clutter is about big wall galleries, like lots of pictures and mixing the frames, and mixing fixtures. Like you might have the gold knobs, but you might have the black sink fixture, or it's just a mix of all those things, and it's bringing old and new together.
You like that?
Antique
I wouldn't think you would like that.
Oh, bro. If I walked into my living room and it looked like the parlor of a 1700s English cottage, I would be in heaven.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that about you.
Oh, yes.
Weirdo.
I do. I love that. I love antiques. And the farmhouse thing is sort of dying out. It's more like a rustic chic. There's also the Nancy Meyers aesthetic. And that's another thing that I've talked about before, the Nancy Meyers movie aesthetic. It's intentional clutter. You want to see a house that's been lived in. You want to see a person who's had experiences. You want to see pictures of their vacations everywhere, and you want to see books that they've collected, and that's intentional clutter.
Okay.
I think that's a pretty cool trend.
Makes sense.
I would not miss, but I love to hate her. I love her and I hate her. Nara Smith. Nara Smith is a biracial 23-year-old model married to a very beautiful model named Lucky. Mm-hmm. Lucky Smith. Mm-hmm. She's got 3 kids. They are just like a baby-making factory, those two. And she cooks. So her videos, it's like looking up from her kitchen island. Mm-hmm. So she looks tall and statuesque, and she's wearing these designer gowns that are like more structure and works of art than dresses.
That nobody ever cooks in, but sure. Go
Right. And she brings her mixer or her cutting board, and she narrates her videos like this, and it's some kind of strange...
It's kind of like hypnotizing.
It's a strange whisper that hypnotizes you, and you can't look away, and she doesn't punctuate because everything is one train of conscious thought. And My toddlers were craving cereal and we didn't have any, so I told Lucky that I would make some. So I got out my cereal maker and I went back into the backyard into our milling machine and pressed the mill myself, and I shaped the grains into little rice cake circles and flavored them with natural fruit from our orange tree outside so they could have Fruit Loops. I baked them for 10 minutes and they were divine. But what's funny is she makes all these things from scratch, and there are so many like Nara Smith like parody accounts. It's hilarious. You'll see them go outside and like take a big old branch off a tree and like cut it with a cheese cutter, like cheese grater.
Yeah, I would like that.
It's hilarious. And meanwhile, they've got the sexy boyfriend behind them, like trying to hump them from behind because they're just very affectionate.
Right.
I mean, they're cute.
Right.
They're beautiful people, but I love to hate them. And so I will kind of miss, but not miss all the time Nara Smith has consumed in my life. And I'll never be as good as her because she makes everything homemade for her toddlers. And her toddlers have very weird names. Like her youngest little girl, who's just adorable, is named Whimsy Lou.
They call her Whim?
I don't know what they call her, but her name is Whimsy Lou. And one of their kids is called Slim Shady.
Shut your mouth.
Or Shady Slim.
Shut your mouth. I'm not believing that.
And the other one is like Bear Honey. I don't know.
Wheat? Wheat?
It's worse, dude. It's not like Rain. You know? Or Satchel.
Satchel?
It's like...
Oh, Jennifer's going to love that
It's like Slim.
It's not Satchel?
It's like Slim and Honey and Whimsy. Oh. It's crazy. But they're interesting.
You got me interested.
Yeah.
The voice. I was like literally, I was in a trance watching you make like parody that.
I think I'm going to narrate all my podcasts like this.
I know, but you didn't look up and look at my reaction while you're doing it. I was sitting there going,
You were transfixed.
my head was like cocked to the side. I was like, you're getting very sleepy. Sleepy.
That is exactly what her videos do.
That's what it was doing to
but
me.
But every one of them is like, it starts out with, my toddlers were craving, or Lucky woke up and was craving cinnamon rolls and was going to go to the store. And I said, I'll make them. But it's like 5 hours later after your bread rises. I mean, it's nuts, right? And she makes her own Cheez-Its. It's crazy. She makes her own gum. We were heading out to the beach and packing our bag and realized we were out of suntan lotion. So I decided to make my own from some beeswax I got from the back.
Oh, what kind of life they lead.
You've got to look her up while you've got time.
Yeah.
I think this is a perfect time for a break. We have a couple more trends to talk about. I think you wanted to talk about fashion a little bit.
I want to talk about fashion.
Yeah. And then speaking of fashion.
Because I'm the fashionable one of the two.
You are,
Oh, sure.
Mr. Stitch Fix.
Yeah.
Speaking of fashion, we had a red carpet event recently, last weekend, so we're going to talk about that. There's a lot going on in entertainment news. Basically, everything is on fire. And we're back.
We are back.
Take it away, Joe.
Mary Beth, there are some fashion trends that I feel like need to be addressed.
Yes.
Because we are clearly the judges of good fashion.
Of everything.
Right. Right. We have street cred. I struggle with, I guess, I was going to say boys, but I guess it's boys and young men wearing high white socks.
What is the deal?
What in the hell are you thinking?
It's girls too.
Maybe I haven't seen that as much.
I have had some very unproductive conversations with my soon-to-be 20-year-old daughter about this very issue. But go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, it literally, it's like nails on a chalkboard. WTF. In what universe do you think that looks good? Like, what started that? Why is it continued?
I noticed it.
Is it as joke? Are they doing it as a joke? Are they trying to be funny?
Just at the end of my teaching career, which is we're looking at 8 years this week actually, and it started with the longer socks with sandals, but not normal sandals
like Eastlands or like Sperry's,
like shower shoes.
Oh,
like those Nike or whatever.
I got you. Slides.
Yeah, and I'm looking at it going, okay, you realize. My grandpa does that. What you're doing right now. Mm-hmm. Like, what is wrong with
Are we on a shuffleboard court in Florida?
What is going on?
Like, what?
And so I think it started with that. And then
it's almost like it's a joke.
Now it's tennis shoes.
It's almost like people are doing it to be funny.
I have asked my daughter, are you trying to look like you have tree trunks for legs?
No kidding.
So she had on these really cute athletic shorts that were really short. And she had on some tennis shoes and some no-show socks. And she was like, wow, my legs look really good. And I said, it's because you're not wearing big socks.
Because you're not wearing the white wigwams.
What the
or whatever
hell?
the hell those were when we were growing up. The real thing. Yeah, I don't get it.
They do nothing for the leg.
Very unflattering.
It's so unflattering.
Very, very unflattering. I think it only looks good on like professional tennis players. Outside of that, don't even think you're allowed to.
Ever.
To do that.
That trend needs to die.
So that's one fashion trend. Oh God, I can barely even get it out. Young women wearing real puffy jeans with dad shoes. Have you seen this one? Like,
I've seen a return of the like sailor pant jean, like the wide leg.
Yeah.
And the flare and the boot cut. It's all coming back.
Right. Are we calling that a mom jean or what are we calling that? Like I've seen it recently, and I can't unsee it.
When Mallory was a freshman, I literally got her a pair of what were called mom jeans from a hip youngster store.
Like she requested it. I have to have those.
Yes. And they were called mom jeans. I'm like, you realize this was an SNL skit like not too long ago.
Yeah. So that one, it bothers me.
Yeah.
Because again, it goes back to the white sock thing. It's like, are you purposely trying to not? And listen, I understand our mother's going to say, well, did you see some of the stuff you wore in 1992? Or I get that. I get it. But I don't get the puffy, the real balloon looking jeans with the dad shoes. I saw somebody, no joke, wearing, listen,
Dad shoes.
acid washed mom jeans, big puffy balloon jeans or whatever, dad shoes, like dad sneakers, an old like ugly grandma sweatshirt with a thick chain outside of the sweatshirt neck.
Dude, the 90s fashion is coming back.
Okay,
If anything,
I don't understand.
Okay, I am not a fan of the 90s. I mean, I guess there are certain things from the 90s that we love, like Friends, of course.
Yeah,
But the fashion,
yeah, don't be hating on Friends now.
some of the fashion coming back is depressing. And what you're describing is depressing.
It's depressing. Yeah, it puts me in a bad mental.
Like the thick gold chain, those are back. Blech. Like, throw on some Eastlands, why don't you?
Yeah, this young woman was wearing the chain outside of her neck of her sweatshirt. I couldn't believe it.
Okay.
I was like, what's
While we're at it, can we get a crew neck T-shirt, Hanes, and wear a V-neck ribbed sweater to go with your gold chain, and shave the sides of your heads then,
It's shameful.
and do the chili bowl?
Yeah, it's shameful. Now I had a chili bowl, so but I look back and I'm like, why didn't everybody kick the shit out of me?
Right.
Like, why didn't you kick the shit out of me? I would have been okay with that. I had to be. If I looked like that and I didn't realize I looked so silly, I mean, I just needed help.
There's actually a fashion trend that's kind of trickled down from it. It always trickles down from the runways, right? So it takes a couple years. So I think it was 2022 or 23 when this whole what's it called? Circus. I wrote it down. Circus core fashion, where it's like larger pants, large puffy sleeves, bold colors, and mixed match prints like polka dots and stripes together, like as you would imagine a circus to look like. So everybody's walking around thinking they look hot, but all I hear is dun 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 dun. Like, please,
Yeah.
no circus.
I have a couple more. Do you want me to just keep going?
Go.
Suits that aren't fitted. So what I mean by that is I don't mean what you probably think I mean. I don't mean like oversized suits that aren't fitted properly. I'm talking about it's too tight.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
that has become a thing, and that drives me bonkers. Because
Yeah.
as a professional who has suits, who wears suits, and who takes pride in looking good in a suit, I mean, these dudes, even guys that are like halfway in shape, they're wearing these shirts that are so tight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're so tight that you can see like, and they're
You know what I'm hearing?
What?
Fat guy in a little
Richard,
coat.
what's happening? No, but like these shirts I'm seeing have, I don't know if it's European shirt or whatever you call them, but they had like these trims on, like where you can see their love handles. It like accentuates their love handles because it's like painted on their body. The shirt is so tight that it's painted, and this is like dudes that are in pretty decent shape, and it makes them look fat.
I have noticed this just in passing because I don't watch sports ball, but anytime Josh is watching a football game, the commentators, the former athletes who are still very ripped or
Right.
whatever, look like they're going to Incredible Hulk themselves
Right.
out of their suit.
Exactly. So I don't understand that whatsoever. Like Dad always taught me, like you got to take pride in a nicely fitted suit, but it's got to be fitted to your. So it's like you see that in like the pants. These guys are wearing pants that, you can see their whatever. Maybe that's intentional, but even the
Maybe. There's no maybe
but
about
like,
that.
But even the pants make them look heavier than they are.
Yeah.
Like makes them look fat almost.
Pleats are coming back, for God's sake.
Yeah, but like I'm just like watching these young weathermen guys on these local news stations, and they're just their suits aren't fitted correctly, and it's driving me nuts.
Yes.
And I'm just like that doesn't look flattering.
And
Like,
it's the
just size,
opposite.
just size up, bro.
It's the opposite for women. For women, it's all oversized all the time.
Right.
It's
Isn't that
the
interesting?
super oversized blazer. I think they even there's a fashion trend called grandma, like grandma. I'm going out to the beach. I'm in Cape Cod. Look at my grandma skirt with my cool blazer that's 3 sizes too big, but my halter top underneath it's super tight, and my sleeves are rolled up, and I've got my little.
You're big on these impressions today. I
Yeah,
love it.
I'm like,
I love it. You're an impressionist.
I love judging influencers. You put yourself out there,
That's
you're going to
right.
get
exactly.
judged.
It's your fault. I mean, if you think about it, it's your fault. Last one I had was baby hairs. Are you familiar?
No.
And I've seen it with like multiple races.
Oh, wait a minute.
They have the little sticky, like it sticks to their forehead,
Yeah.
And they like swirl it and they stick it to their forehead. I've seen
No.
multiple races do this.
Oh my.
It's dreadful looking. It's dirty looking. It looks like this, like
Oily.
oily. Yeah. I'm like, why would you do that to yourself? And a lot of times it's attractive people.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you do that? Like, why would you purposely try to make yourself less attractive when you have attractive features? I don't understand it. Like, why would you do that to yourself? Like, I'm trying to I'm getting old now, and I feel like I've aged decently, but I'm like trying my ass off to look better, not worse.
Right.
I'm not doing the opposite. I'm trying to look better, not worse. And I don't get that. But I've heard it called baby hairs.
Now that you talk about it, I can picture what. Yeah. And I've seen it, and you're right.
Like,
it's odd.
Like, here's what's going to happen. It's going to happen just like it did when I looked at my senior wall at our high school when I saw my chili bowl, and I'm like, what the hell? Like 25 years later, or whatever. In 20 years, those people are going to look at that, and they're going to look at their like little seductive selfies that they put with it, the baby, just so people can see it, and they're going to be like, what the fuck was I thinking? Like, what the fuck was I thinking?
Or worse, they'll think, damn, I look good.
Well, yeah, that would be worse. If they thought that 20 years later, if they thought that looked good, that's definitely worse.
Oh.
So those were a few I wanted to call out.
Okay. Rightfully so, my friend. Entertainment updates. Oh my gosh, where to begin? First of all, I have said it before. Blake Lively, the girl ain't nice.
I've seen some talk shows recently where she's a topic.
Okay.
From multiple people.
She apparently is in this movie that came out this past summer, I guess. And her co-star, who was also the director, she sued him for sexual harassment, like just recently. And dude came back with receipts. Like his lawyer has the receipts. And apparently she is not faring well in the public opinion right now.
Which is a shame because I feel like Ryan Reynolds seems like he's one of the nicest Hollywood dudes, or maybe not.
But she is.
But he's with her.
A lot of things, a lot of her old interviews are all coming back to bite her in the ass because she's just not a nice person. And she plays the victim quite a bit. And in this particular case, apparently, from what I know of Justin Baldoni, the co-star and director of this film, took great pains to be sensitive to the female perspective and purposely wanted her to have as much input as possible when it came to sex scenes, when it came to what they wore, how they kissed on screen, all these things. And so it seems right now that her lawsuit is going to backfire gloriously, and he is countersuing.
Good for him.
Craziness. And then last Sunday, the Golden Globes. Very exciting. I cannot believe, Joe, that I used to ask off work for these events.
That's crazy.
I would get into the request off book in the manager's office when we waited tables together.
Yeah, I would have definitely made fun of you there.
And I'd look at January, and then I'd look at March for the Academy Awards. I would take off so I could watch. And I watched the red carpet, my pregame. And I cannot believe I cared at all.
What was your end goal for that? What were you hoping to get out of that?
Well, back then, I wanted to be an actress.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that's what I wanted to do with my life. And I grew up, honestly. I grew up and realized that that's not the kind of life I want. And anyway, so I didn't pursue that, but I just loved the glamour. I loved the
trappings
yes.
of fame and
yes,
celebrity.
It was all important to me. I love the entertainment weeklies and the peoples. And so, but now I just like to make fun of it. They have, I don't know where to begin when it comes to Hollywood. Again, like Nara Smith, I love to hate them. I love them and hate them at the same time. I was going to make some pretty bold predictions about this year's ceremony. I was going to say that Timothée Chalamet was going to win Best Actor for his portrayal of Bob Dylan, which I've not seen the movie yet, but I've seen extended scenes, on TikTok.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
I'm a big Timothée Chalamet fan. I think he's interesting and fun and down to earth. And I am a huge Bob Dylan fan. I saw him when he came here a few years back.
I got me a Dylan record in that room right
Dude,
there. Oh,
Bob Dylan is a jewel. I was so immature growing up thinking, oh, that voice, I can't get into that voice. And then in my 30s,
genius.
in my early 30s,
It's genius.
I was reading a
It's so
magazine article.
captivating.
I know. I was reading this magazine article, probably in Entertainment Weekly. They'd always have this last page of People or Entertainment Weekly where they'd do a quick Q&A with a celebrity. I cared about whatever celebrity I was reading about, and they talked about their love of Bob Dylan, and they mentioned a song, Tangled Up in Blue. And that stopped me in my tracks. I was like, ooh, what a title. Tangled Up in Blue. I got to hear that song. And that led to another song, and pretty soon I had like 3 albums on my iTunes.
That's awesome.
Bob Dylan is just amazing.
It's got to start somewhere. It's good stuff.
He wrote, this might come as a surprise, he wrote a song that many people don't realize he wrote because he did not, it wasn't like a big hit for him. And I'm not even sure he released it. If he did, it must have been back in like the early 70s or something. To Make You Feel My Love. When the rain's blowing in your... Garth Brooks?
Oh.
Trisha Yearwood, I think, did it too. A lot of people have covered that song. That song was... I had that song played at my wedding.
He wrote that?
He wrote that.
Man, I tell you what, he might be...
He's one of the best songwriters of all time.
I was going to say he's probably not best singer, but he's got his own like way. But he's definitely got to be top 5 best
How
singer.
does it feel?
Hey, Ruben Cotto was falsely tried.
That's a good one.
That's a great... I have that on my...
No, I was going to say your impression.
Oh, well, thanks.
That's impressive. Well, I was positive that Chalamet was going to win because he's performing, like that's him. That's him playing the guitar, the harmonica.
Oh, wow.
And that's his voice.
So he was all in.
He was
committed.
all in. Well, there were a lot of delays. There was COVID, then the writer's strike. So he had, unexpectedly, 5 years to prepare. So he was just like...
Better be good.
Right.
Homie.
Well, they weren't going to make him do all the live performances, but he had all that time.
Makes it more authentic.
So he got a
Makes it more authentic.
music coach, and anyway,
great.
I think he's fantastic, and I thought he was going to win, but Adrian Brody won. Here, let me just say, shame on the Golden Globes, shame on the foreign press, the Hollywood foreign press. Looking at the list of nominees, I thought it was 20 years ago.
Oh, I know, because when you said Adrian Brody, I was like, oh, damn.
Can we please
Like,
move on?
Hello, the Piano. That's so...
I mean...
however long ago that was.
I mean, is it late 90s still? I mean, is James Cameron going to rush the stage and say, I'm king of the world? What the hell is happening? And all these actors, and I didn't write them down, I should have, but it just looked very old. However, to be fair, Demi Moore won, and she's never won anything.
No, that was cool. I saw that.
And that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
I felt bad. Her acceptance speech was really beautiful and very sincere, but it was also really telling because I thought how insecure this poor woman. She spent her life maintaining herself and trying to, better herself, and that's what it took to make her feel like she said at the end, "I belong here."
It's crazy that she would think that way.
Broke my heart.
Like,
I was
you don't
like,
belong.
girl,
Like, you're an icon.
like, girl, you are an icon. Come on now.
Yeah, you've hosted SNL. You've had...
She can do drama. She can do comedy. She's great.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I thought that was kind of sad, but also touching. So it was kind of cool that she won, but at the same time, and then the youngsters that were nominated blew my mind. It's like Selena Gomez, Zoe Saldana, and
Yeah, I saw Zoe Saldana won.
she won for the weirdest. I'm sorry, I've seen clips of this movie. The weirdest shit I've ever seen. Like, I can't believe it beat Wicked. Anyway, and then Ariana Grande. What is happening? Like, these people are like, and they're going to be Oscar nominated.
Yeah. Ariana Grande is a very talented singer.
She's
though.
incredibly
Like, if you take anything out about the weirdness of her
talented.
and all that kind of crap,
But it's like
the press junkets that she's getting blasted for. The girl can freaking
the girl
sing.
can sing her ass off. She can imitate anybody. She's
I've seen her
incredible.
on Fallon a bunch. She's amazing.
She was
really
awesome
is.
in Wicked. But I just have to say, the Golden Globes this year was such a strange mix of old and new that really
What did you
took me by surprise.
What did you think about Nikki Glaser?
I actually
really
am
like
not
her.
familiar with her.
Oh, she Google the roast, the Comedy Central roast. She is like,
I thought a lot of her jokes were pretty funny.
yeah,
I'm a little edgier because I'm a bring back Ricky Gervais.
Yeah.
Well, I'm that kind of.
Yeah, I heard Bill Maher recently talk about. He was on the podcast with David Spade and Dana Carvey's podcast, which I love, Fly on the Wall. And Bill Maher was their guest, and they were talking about the Golden Globes, specifically Nikki Glaser hosting.
Love Bill Maher.
Yeah, I do too, because he's real. Dude,
He is.
He doesn't play one side. He's like, he'll call out the bullshit.
Yeah, and he hates Trump, but
Right.
I love him.
Right. But he's like, it's your fault you lost.
Yeah.
Like, the woke shit is your fault.
Yeah.
Which I blame. Hey, listen,
Well, he's the traditional liberal.
yeah, but not to go back to politics,
Yeah.
but I blame the whole MAGA movement thing
Yes.
on the liberals. It's their fault that
the response
that exists.
was so
Yeah,
hysterical.
but anyway, his point was he thought Nikki Glaser was a good choice. He thought that she did just well enough to show kind of what she is like, because she's known for those roasts if you've never seen them, and she is freaking hilarious. Like she has one of the best one-line, like she gets people, but she couldn't quite go to Ricky Gervais's level because Bill Maher said, Gervais has fuck you money.
Yes.
So
exactly.
Gervais like owns his own
Exactly.
production companies. He has the office. He has whatever.
Exactly.
He goes, Nikki kind of has to still tote that line a little bit.
Yeah.
But she still was edgy enough to where she wanted to make sure that she was, she's trying to propel her career, obviously. So she wants to be more than just known as the comedy roast, Comedy Central
and
roast. female.
it's so lazy to get up there and host one of these navel gazing awards show, these self-congratulatory
Yeah.
bullshit shows that we love to watch and love to hate.
Yeah.
It's so lazy to get up there and just preach and tell all the same stupid one-sided jokes and make fun of
Yeah.
Midwesterners and like.
Yeah. But I
don't
watched
know.
a lot of her Comedy Central roast stuff, and she's really, really good. She's one of the best.
Well,
So I was happy to see her at least get that opportunity. And
my biggest disappointment of the evening was that Cynthia Erivo did not win for Wicked. Okay, look. I have been a fan of Wicked since the beginning. I've seen it on stage probably 3
I
times.
was going to say, you and Mallory's seen it quite a bit.
Yes. I think Mallory and I have seen it twice together. So we've always been fans. Mallory was freaking out about it coming out. I think it came out in Thanksgiving weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But I waited. I was just like, I don't know if I want to see it on screen. It's sacred. If you have a theater background, it is sacred. That stuff is sacred. And so I'm very hesitant to jump on I can't wait to see the live action. No, leave it alone.
Yeah,
But
you're
look,
very protective of the integrity of the
of
story.
the story, of the art. Like, it's meant to be on stage. I don't want to see a big sensationalized, like, let it be what it is because it's already perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I eat my words because it's available now on Amazon Prime. And so I bought it because I knew I'd probably like it, and I wanted Mallory to have it. So she watched it with me. We're sitting in my bed. By the end, by Defying Gravity, because it's a 2-parter, which it should, I don't know why they broke it up, but Defying Gravity is how it ends. The stage version, Defying Gravity, ends like Act 1, right? So it's this big number. They stretch it out to like 14 minutes. Mallory and I are clutching each other's hands for dear life, tears streaming down our faces. This woman was born to be Elphaba. It was incredible. A voice like an angel with soul. Like, I just loved it. And I just can't believe she didn't win for that. But anyway.
I love when you get passionate about something, you talk with your hands the way you do.
I do.
love it. I wish people could see it.
Well, one of these days we'll have a video.
A video, yeah.
A
I was
video stream.
man, this bitch means it.
And man, if we start doing video, I'll have to like get out of my pajamas and like fix my hair.
I'll stop wearing
Damn it.
high white socks.
Well, okay. We got to talk about the fires. Everything is burning down.
It's very sad.
It's very sad. It's devastating, and I know that it's all about the celebrities losing their $1 million homes and all that, but so many people in that area are not wealthy. We talked about our own devastating house fire where we literally only had the clothes on our back. Mm-hmm. And so a loss is a loss. It's so hard to see. And I've said it before, California has to be the most poorly managed state. I mean, leading up to 2020 election, they literally, Joe, couldn't keep the lights on.
I know.
They had
I know.
those forced power outages where to conserve. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, it's the governor, and then it's like the mayor of LA County. I think even that it's just
Getting a
there's-
lot of heat.
Yeah, there's a lot of heat. Like no pun
Oh,
intended.
terrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shame on me.
Yeah, we didn't plan that. By the way.
Shame on me.
But yeah, it's a lot of mismanagement. Some initiatives that were taking some funding away to where that money
Yes,
needed to go.
yes. Millions of
So
dollars.
yeah, you're talking north of $17 million that was cut.
And again, Trump's not even inaugurated. They're still finding ways to blame
yeah.
him for this.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Nuts.
And I'm old enough to remember in 2020. I think it was Biden. Maybe it was 2020 or it was early in this last race. I'm old enough to remember Biden saying that if he didn't get elected, then all natural hell was going to break loose, and we were going to have multiple wildfires. Well, guess what?
Good Lord.
And it still happens. So I hate the politicization of stuff like that. I hate that. I'm
Yeah.
like, can we just grieve and
Yeah.
feel sorry for people that have lost their? Can we just get
everything.
away from the right versus the left and all that other?
Yeah, a loss is loss, and it's devastating.
A lot of mismanagement for sure. I
lose the roof over your head.
I feel badly when those firefighters and those those fire chiefs are really like they dedicate their whole lives to their career. They want to serve their communities, and
They're there to save
but
lives.
most importantly, they want to have the resources that's needed to even
Right.
do the job. And when you don't even have that, it's very
sad.
hard to respond the way you need to.
It's sad.
So
I do have empathy for these people because I've been through it. We know what it feels
Yeah.
like.
And there's nothing. I mean, once it starts like that, there's really nothing to stop it. If you think about it, because like what's making it get worse is wind.
Yeah.
Like you can't
Yeah.
It's so hard to control, especially when you don't have the full resources to
Yeah, and it
combat it.
It was preventable.
Sure, but
By
I'm just
all
saying,
accounts.
like as it's going,
Yeah, but once it starts, yeah.
it's
But that's terrible. But that's just all over the news and social media. I wanted to end this episode by sharing what's new in 2025. What's coming soon to a theater near you? Guess what?
tell me
Nothing.
because
Nothing new. I looked up coming attractions.
I've done this recently. Was very
Dude.
disappointed.
I noticed a trend immediately. So you Google it, and it shows the poster, right? The movie posters. And you keep scrolling, and you keep scrolling. And within 30 seconds, I was like, okay, these are all franchises or sequels or reinventions of the same thing or live actions of cartoon. Let me just share a list with you, and you just chime in whenever. Mufasa, because Lion King wasn't enough.
Right.
We have Moana 2. Actually, I think Moana 2 has already been out this year. There's going to be a live action Moana
Oh.
because we need that.
Right.
Sonic the Hedgehog 3,
Oh God, the old video game,
Nosferatu,
which is
Dracula,
right.
like the original. And I think there's another Dracula, a love story. Gladiator 2. Wasn't that like, when was Gladiator 1?
Wasn't that like 99 or something like that?
Wicked Part 2.
Oh my good grief!
Now, the theme of Hollywood 2025, besides Everything's on Fire,
Lack of originality.
is recycling.
Recycling, yeah.
So we've got the live action Moana. We have another Avengers movie. Jurassic World. Didn't that already happen like 3 times?
Yes. I know for a fact there was a Jurassic World at one point.
Mission Impossible 25.
Fast and Furious 48.
I mean, Mission Impossible. Again, Snow White. This movie has not come out. And in the last 2 years, I've heard so much trash talk from the star of Snow White, who, by the way, is not white. Like white.
Right.
Let's just forget the story
Yeah.
and the fact that, okay. There's another Avatar 3.
Never seen any of them, so
There's another Captain America coming.
never seen any of
Buckle
them.
up. Hey, did you know there's another Zootopia on the way? Get excited.
Has there been one original?
Not yet. I'm not finished. How to Train Your Dragon. I'm sorry. Was that not before our children were born?
And that's good enough to have a second?
I
Or
think
third, potentially?
it's. I don't know if it's a part 2 or 3. I think it's just like a
Oh my goodness.
Megan 2.0, that thriller. The Conjuring.
Conjuring, yeah.
How about this? Freakier Friday.
Oh my God. Freakiest.
Next year it'll be Freakiest
Yeah.
Friday.
We swear to you, it's nothing freakier than this Friday.
You won't believe it, but she's making a comeback. She's returning. Bridget Jones. What else? Is there more to her story that we need to hear? What is it? Bridget Jones becomes a grandma?
Yeah, is this like a is this like a movie or a silver anniversary era? Like what the hell are we doing?
I think Hollywood's gotten lazy.
Yeah.
Is the writer strike still happening?
Right.
And the actors
Are
and
you
the
guys using
producers,
temps?
they were just like, we got this.
Yeah, you guys using temps? You got community college writers?
They did what the Game of Thrones showrunners did in the final season. They went to New York, found some film students, and handed them a bunch of money and said, take care of this for us. We're going to the Caribbean.
Curses for you to go there.
The Fantastic Four. Again, a remake of The Wolfman. Another Frankenstein.
The Incredibles 5.
I'm kind of excited about Frankenstein. I'd like to see a revamp. Chronicles of Narnia. Didn't that already happen?
Yes, that did absolutely happen.
Hey, Ben Affleck, The Accountant, Part 2.
Got to be good. If it's
yeah.
Ben Affleck, it's got to be good.
Oh gosh, Predator.
I mean, that was the 80s.
Isn't Arnold Schwarzenegger 80?
80 years old?
Is
Is that what you mean? He's getting close.
I'm kidding. He's not that old. But isn't he in Predator?
Yes, that was like big when I was like 8.
Right. So I don't know if it's Predator finds a walker and shoots people with it and hits people with it.
So I have no idea.
I don't know.
It doesn't interest me. That's all I know.
How about this one? I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Shut your mouth.
I'm not kidding.
And that's not a new one. That's just like showing.
It's a new one.
God.
I still know what you did last summer. I still know what you did last summer.
Hey, NGL, I know what you did last summer. Not going to lie. I know what you did last summer.
For real.
Yeah. FR.
No cap.
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
know. I'm still misusing
So
those.
I wonder if it's the same plot. Everything's the same, but it's just a new.
I think
it's
they've
a
got-
modern era cast.
They've got a new, cast of youngsters, and
I mean,
then
it can't
I think
be exactly the same.
and then I
plot.
think Freddie Prinze and Sarah Michelle. I think they're going to be in it.
parents or something.
Must be.
Well, they're not going to be teenagers.
This one, I'm not exaggerating. Saw 11.
That's just.
They've officially run out of ideas, Joe.
Hey, Hollywood, that's just irresponsible.
It's just irresponsible.
that show, I swear.
This one is not irresponsible. This one's downright.
No,
damn-
damn was right.
damn right?
Yeah, damn right. You're damn right it is.
This one is damn right impeachable, unforgivable. 28 years later. You remember 28 Days Later?
Vaguely.
Right, vaguely, because it was forever ago.
And that's what it's called? It's 28 years later?
28 years later.
Oh, my God.
I had to end on that one because it was too good.
Are we going to have like a Halloween 43 or whatever?
Well, apparently, because in the most recent one, he became like a bot. And like,
He's like bionic.
I couldn't kill him.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell is
You,
happening?
Like, chop off his arm and his arm just starts growing back like real time.
You know?
What the hell is going on, man?
So that's what's new in Hollywood. Nothing.
Yeah, good on you, Hollywood.
Big fat nothing.
Lazy.
I mean, what is that about?
Lazy.
Joe, I think it's time for us to write a movie.
Clearly we could.
Well, we must.
Clearly we could. We could be more creative than that. No, it'd be funny it'd be funny if we went into like a producer's office or something. We got, all right, hang with us here. Hey, hang with us here.
Stay with me.
Stay with me. And then we name like a movie that's
No, let's give him an elevator pitch of Back to the Future and call it something else. They'll never know.
Yeah.
They'll think that's an awesome story.
There's like this time machine. There's this doctor friend. Now hold on. I want you to hear the best part. I want you to hear the hook.
Skateboard that floats
Right.
in the air.
There's this villain. I want you to hear that. I want you to hear the rest. That's funny.
It's time for us to write a movie. So why don't we go and do that?
I mean, we're going to Italy. So while we're eating baguettes and like driving Vespas and in the countryside,
On the Amalfi Coast.
yeah,
Isn't that strange? I've never been there.
it's like my body's acclimated. Robert, California. It's strange. I've never been there.
Robert, California is the best way to end this episode. I love you so much, brother.
Yes.
Thank you so much for listening to another piece of the Gen X experience worth saving. Our takes on what's new are actually hotter than what's hot right now, and it's now been immortalized into the annals of history. If you like what you heard, subscribe to the Best of Gen X wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. Joe, always a pleasure.
Duh.